Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today I am quickly doing an intro to this video because this is the first time I'm actually going to be reading Work-Life Balance and a graphic novel. So this is part of a tandem read-along, and for the next 5 days I will be reading this graphic novel, which when I applied for it I didn't really acknowledge that this was a graphic novel. I don't usually read this type of story, this type of novel, so I am very intrigued to see how this goes, if I'm going to enjoy this. And having a flick through the designs, the cartoons, comics are actually quite cool, and I'm intrigued, also kind of scared because it's not my usual cup of tea. This is completely out of my comfort zone, but I am intrigued. I've recently read The Formidable Miss Cassidy, which has elements of some folkloric entities from Asia, which this is centered around. I'm intrigued to see what this is like. This, I think, is going to open my eyes to more Asian folklore, which is something that I don't usually explore. So this is the start of that reading vlog. So I finished the first section of this story, which was novel form, which wasn't too bad for me. I enjoyed that side because that's what I'm familiar with. But when I got to the comic side of this, um, I started to kind of get out of my comfort zone in a way, and I'm not too sure how I feel about it. Um, Reading comic strips for me just goes too quickly, and like obviously the dialogue is so short and there's barely anything there other than some pictures. But the illustrations were beautiful. I love the illustrations in here, and I'm not too sure how well I'm getting along with this story as a story. Um, it just seems to be jumping here and there, and I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to feel when I get through this. But I am halfway at this point, and yeah, I think it's kind of strange. um, I don't feel like it delivers as a story, but the folklore elements are definitely interesting, and I really enjoy learning about new folklore and new regions. So this is really opening that door for me, and also allowing me to experience a graphic novel for the very first time. And I'm I'm kind of torn. I don't know if I'm liking it as much as I want to like it, or if my my idea going into this um, is kind of coming true, that graphic novels aren't for me. But I'm intrigued to see where this ends and if my current thoughts remain the same. So I'll check back in whenever I have some more updates and when I finish the book. So I've now finished Work-Life Balance, and um, I'm kind of torn on this story, like I have been in my last clip. So this follows a group of folklore freelancers who work for a company, a multinational company called The Company. and it follows that journey and how these managers aren't the nicest of people. They're malevolent. Basically, they are trying to have a balance within their work and their life, and we follow a lot of different entities in this story. But I think that for me, this story was very disjointed with the fact that it jumps from story form to comic, back to story form, then to comic. It was kind of jarring and I just didn't really connect with it. And the fact that we had to read this in like day forms, so we could only read a certain amount of pages each day, I just didn't really enjoy that aspect. It works for novels, but I think for comics, I just don't think splitting it up really works. I could have read this in a day, and I probably would have been able to connect with it slightly more than being day to day. But I don't think overall I would fully connect with this book simply because it didn't make much sense to me jumping in between the different formats, and it had lots of different entities and demons involved. And at points, I was kind of getting confused as to who I was following, what they were, and really trying to just rack my brain to remember what had happened. So for me, this was kind of difficult, but I really love the illustrations in this book. That definitely does help. I mean, I'll show you. They are really cool. Oops. So the illustrations are definitely really good and gives you a feel for what they were wanting you to be thinking of when reading this. But I just didn't really enjoy the overall story as a story. But that's not to say it wasn't an interesting read. It's still interesting. I just wouldn't say that this is a good story or plotline. So yeah, I don't think that this format of books are really for me. I might give it a go again in the future with another graphic novel, something different. Um, but yeah, I just don't think graphic novels are really for me. But in saying that, I did enjoy the folklore in this and being able to understand more entities from different regions because they do have a glossary at the back. So you can kind of learn what they have been telling us about in the story, which was nice as well because then I could go and check that out. But yeah, Work Life Balance wasn't the best book for me. So I think I'm giving it like a 2 star. Um, I just don't think the story works as a story. But I love the folklore in here, and the illustrations were on point and interesting to look at and obviously to read. But I just didn't connect or enjoy the plot. But I think that's all I'm going to say on this for now. And I just know that graphic novels aren't my go to, and I might end up picking another one up in the future. But with that, I'm going to end this short little vlog and test. Thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments if you read graphic novels and what one you would recommend me to try next time to see if I do like graphic novels or not. I would love to get your recommendations. And if I do want to try a graphic novel in the future, I might use one of your suggestions. So thank you so much for watching again. And until next time, keep your pages turning and embrace the darkness. Bye.